She's more computerized, not so much kind sounding, huh? Well, my name is Emily Burgess, and I am so excited to join forces with one of my favorite people in the world, Lisa Schupler, as we are going to be talking a little bit through, oh my gosh, my phone just started talking to me. As we're going to be talking through just a little bit of business talk. And so I'm really excited because this is something that I am so incredibly passionate about. I sit around and I talk to my husband. I probably say to him at least once or twice a month, like, why are not more people doing this every day? Like, why is not the whole world doing network marketing? Because it is truly one of the best experiences I have ever been a part of. It has changed everything for my family. I had been working for a nonprofit Christian organization because we were having a hard time making ends meet. My husband works also for a nonprofit, or he used to work for a nonprofit ministry organization, and we have two young children. I was only shopping at yard sales and thrift stores, so that way we could have the means to buy people birthday gifts or clothes for our children, clothes for ourselves. That sounds really dramatic, but it's truly what we were doing. It was a very, very tight financially for us, but I had a dream from the day I started dreaming to stay home with my children whenever I had children. And so that was something that my husband was so wonderful and allowed me to do, even though things were very, very tight. But I had this dream to stay home. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever read Karen Kingsbury. If you have, put in the comments that you have. Karen Kingsbury is a Christian author, and all of her books are basically the same, but they just give me all the good feels. And there's this one family that she writes about where he was like an NFL coach, and he has a ton of children, and his dream was just have this big, huge home where he could just open it up and have as many people come in and love on them and just like share Jesus with them. And so that is something that has always been a huge desire of mine. And that just wasn't happening where we were. And it didn't seem like there was ever going to be anything that could get us to that goal. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a few things. When I was a young girl, how many of you guys did those fundraisers where you would go door to door and sell like tins of candy or tins of nuts, or like old candles people didn't want, or like $15 like wrapping paper, right? How many of you guys got those in elementary school? And how many of you did them? How many of you were like, oh, no, this is not for me? Well, for me, I would go every time to the back to see what the earnings would be. And I would have my eyes on the prize. I wanted that lava lamp. I wanted that yo-yo. I wanted that booklet of stickers. And you bet your bottom dollar, I was running up and down my street, knocking on every single person's door because I had this goal of that lava lamp or this goal of the sticker. And you better believe that I was the very first person, because I knew that everybody in my neighborhood was probably going to go and knock on the doors. I wanted to be the first because I wanted that lava lamp. That's kind of the same thing here. We have a why with our goal. I would have never just gone and knocked on Mr. Jim's door to sell him a $15 roll of wrapping paper if I didn't have a goal in mind, if there wasn't a reason I was doing that. And so having a why is so very important when it comes to anything. So one of our friends, I don't know if she's on here right now, but one of our friends is amazing, and she does the Ironman. She's done 2 Ironman. She probably had a reason why she did that. If she was just doing it just to do it, she probably would not have a whole lot of push when it got hard. She probably wouldn't have a whole lot of push when she was swimming like 18,000 miles or running 18,000 miles. She had a why as to why she was doing that. So that is one of the most important things that I have seen. I've been with Plexus for 4.5 years. Thankfully, we were able to hit the very top of the company within about 3 years. And so I've had some experience with where I've personally gone and what I've seen with other leaders. Your why of why you are here is so very important. You get to figure out like what this opportunity could do for you, what it could do for your family, what it could do for others around you. So for me, after saying no to Plexus for 4 years because I value relationships so very much, and I was really afraid to do anything like this because it was very uncomfortable. But after 4 years of seeing my friends share about the products and my belief in the products building, even though I wasn't taking the products, I was seeing trusted people sharing about what the products were doing for them. I was also seeing how the opportunity was helping so many people. So after 4 years, I started to have this little like fire in my belly of what if, like, what if this could change things for my family? And so my husband and I really had to dive deep into what our goal would be, what our why would be with me starting it, because it was really uncomfortable. Network marketing is an incredible career. It's an incredible profession, but it is scary and it is unconventional. And so we had to figure out what that why would be if I were to go and do this. And so my husband and I, in December of 2016, we literally sat down while my girls were taking a nap in the afternoon on a Sunday, and we wrote out a pro and a con list. And what was really interesting was taking a look at that con list. And the con list was all stories like, what if, like, what will my friends think of me? Will I have friends if I continue to do this? Will my friends support me? Will people turn the other direction when I come into the room? Like, will people like me? Will people be annoyed with me? Will people mute me or unfollow me on social media? It was like all these questions and these stories, and those are all my cons. So there was nothing solid in that because the products were incredible. I knew that they were going to continue to help me because I'd been able to start taking them. I knew that they could help so many other people. I knew that the opportunity was very real. So there was no tangible con. The integrity of the leadership is top notch. There was no like solid con. But then when I went and looked at the pro list, you guys, it made me want to cry because, as I said in the very beginning, I had all these really big dreams, but it just seemed so far-fetched. There was almost like I stopped dreaming because I was like, there's really no way like we're going to get to all these things. But in that pro list, it was one of those things of it's going to help me with my health. It's going to continue to help me. It's going to continue to help my husband. But it might also help us to be able to get our daughters into extracurricular activities that we absolutely have no means to be able to do that right now. It means that we could possibly allow my husband to leave a job that he was fine with, but he wanted to go and do his own thing. And he wanted to go and write and tell stories and pastor people. But he couldn't do that with his job. So that could possibly be an outlet for him to go do that. It could mean that my family could go on a missions trip overseas and serve at a missionary's bed and breakfast. It could mean that we could give more generously to our church and to other people. It means that we could go fly to see our family all over the country. There were so many big things, including purchasing a dream house in a dream neighborhood, which, by the way, we just did a year and a half ago. Those were all a big part of the pro. And y'all, that set my soul on fire, seeing, okay, this could be the avenue to get my family to reach these goals. So I share that, and I've talked 10 minutes on it because that is how important having a why here is. They say that John Maxwell, I don't know if you know of him, but he talks all the time about how anything worthwhile is uphill. So think about that. Like I mentioned with the Ironman, like that is not easy work. You have to work really hard at that. But that is something that is a huge goal that is worth that work. Eating healthy is hard, and it takes some stretching and some growing and learning. Writing a book, that's hard work. Going to school is hard work. Having a baby is hard work. Being a parent is hard work. But anything worthwhile is uphill. And so that is what I just want to ingrain in here. Like, have some goals. Talk with your spouse, talk with your family, really dive deep into what this could look like for you and your family. Goals give you a track to run on so you can see where you have to go, and they help you to go from wishful thinking to reality. Like, this could be reality. This is not just wishful thinking. So I'm going to show you guys here in a screen share here we go, what our monthly. Okay, can you guys, not that one, I'm sorry. Okay, so this, I want you guys to take a look at. Lisa, I can see you. Can you see this? Can you give me a thumbs up? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I want you to, excuse me, I want you to take a look at this. you're going to see we have quite a few different ranks within Plexus. And you're going to see it starts off with silver, where that makes on average $423 a month, yearly about $5,000. And that's our very first rank. Goes all the way down to diamond, which is what I am. And that average monthly income is $35,000 or yearly $430, $430,000. I want you guys to sit here and I want you to dream. And I want you in the chat, take about 20, 30 seconds and just off the top of your head, like, what would it look like if you had this, a smaller side gig, silver, gold, senior gold income? What would that look like for your family? What would it look like if you hit the top positions within this company, emerald, sapphire, diamond? And I'm here to tell you, I am a normal woman, your average Joe, that is super awkward. And if I can get to diamond, anybody can get to diamond. So do not disregard that. And in the chat, I want you guys to type out, what would that look like for your family? New home, being able to give more generously to your church, being able to pay off your debt. We have so many people on our team who had massive amounts of debt that are either on the track to being debt-free or are now debt-free. Put in the chat what that could look like for your family. Feel free to take a screenshot of this as well if you would like, so you can go and share with your husband, or you can just sit on this for a little bit and see if this is something that could be a blessing for you. I always feel like when I talk about this, I definitely don't want people to think it's all about the money, but to me, it's about what this money can do, what this money can represent. Like I talked about, could this get you out of debt and relieve some crazy financial stress? Is this something that could allow you to move to your neighborhood that would be a dream school area, school district for your children? Is this something that maybe you could use this money for counseling for a marriage that may be a little bit rocky? Is this a way to get your family involved and going to a family camp or going to a missions trip? There's so many opportunities here that is what makes me so incredibly passionate. So I'm going to stop right here, stop the share. And I want to introduce you to a very, very dear friend of mine, Lisa. And I want her to share a little bit about her story because it's very unique. She started and she stopped a few times. And so I'm going to have her share a little of her story and some of the things that she has seen help her move the needle forward with her business. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, I have actually been with Plexus for, let's see, next month will be my 4 years for me, which is kind of crazy. But I started wanting to just be a happy customer. It was November 2017. I had been watching Emily post about Plexus, kind of curious, starting to look up every bad review I could find about it to disprove her, basically, is what I wanted to do. But I found myself in the hospital in bed rest with my first pregnancy, and she had posted something about how like Plexus can help with breast milk production, and I was expecting to have a long NICU journey in which that would be really helpful. So after those 6 months of watching her, I reached out to her and started asking questions, basically. And a few days later, we had my son, and unfortunately, he passed away 9 days later. And Emily was just the sweetest thing, checking in on me, asking me how I was doing, not asking me about Plexus, just asking me about me. And that was like, immediately I knew she was a safe space. So when I got home and had some time to process everything that had just happened, I reached back out saying, I want to give Plexus a chance. Basically, I wanted to have some kind of control over anything that was happening in my life, and my body and my health was one thing that I knew I could sort of control, or at least do something to feel like I was, had any power in my body or in my life again. So I got started pretty quickly, wanting to help with the weight and the hormones that my body was just clinging to after losing a baby. your body doesn't know what to do. And so you just have all this sitting on you. And that was really what I wanted support with at that point, was to help get all of that moving and get back to a healthy place so I could have hopefully another baby in the future. And what I didn't expect was that about a month in, I was suddenly sleeping soundly. I was no longer having horrible nightmares anymore that I was having every single night. And things like that I did not expect is what changed my mind about wanting to do Plexus as a business. It surprised me. It was like all these added benefits of things that I didn't know were going to come with it that had anything to do with gut health at all. I had no clue. And so the more I started to learn, the more I started to see how Plexus could help other people around me and in my life, my family, my closest friends. And so I just had this desire to want to share with all of them and to be like, you can feel better. Like this is what this is all about. This isn't some weird diet drink thing, a diet program. This is just health. And I'm kind of a hippie, natural kind of mom where I don't really go to the doctor much. I don't take antibiotics. I love essential oils. I love home remedies. And so Plexus actually aligned up with all of those things that mattered to me that I had always talked about openly and publicly, like in social media. And anybody who knew me well knew that I was sort of that kind of gal. And I remember being really concerned that the people who knew that about me were going to think I lost my mind, were going to lose respect for me and no longer want to hear anything I had to say because maybe it wasn't consistent with what I had been talking about. That was a fear of mine. And it's funny that Plexus actually lined up with that, with what I really believed in more than I ever imagined. So when I reached out to Emily saying, I want to do this as a business, she kind of guided me on where to get started. I wanted to really see what my own experience was going to be with the products before I started diving into sharing them, because that for me, that was an integrity piece. But I naturally started sharing with people like my mom and my sister and my best friend. And that was just natural conversations. It wasn't something I did on social media. Those were just genuine conversations I had with people in my life. And that's where my business got started. When I made the decision to pursue it, I went silver pretty quickly within, I think, a month of that decision. And that was great. It immediately got my products paid for, my family's products paid for, and that was a really great place for me to start. And about the same time, I was kind of using a different, like a skincare product with a different network marketing company, something I'm still using and I still love. So I had these two businesses sort of on my plate. And I had taken my whole maternity leave. I got to a point where that time had run out and I needed to make a decision, and going back to my full-time job just felt horrible to me. I had this deep desire to want to be home with my kids. Crew. And so I really, really wanted to figure out how to make that work for my family so that if we did have more children, that I could be home with them. So that's when I started to pursue Plexus. That's when this other opportunity started to like shine in my face. And I actually got to a point where I told Emily, I'm going to keep using the products, but I'm going to pursue this other network marketing business. And the truth of it is that I don't know if I ever told her, it seemed easier because they weren't asking me to message people or to reach out to people. They said, all you have to do is post on social media. All you have to do is do some live videos and put on some makeup, which is not my thing either, like totally not me, but they were natural products that I also loved. And so I did that for a while. It wasn't easier. It didn't feel natural to me. And it kind of fizzled out. And at the same time I actually found a full-time job because I was lacking community. I was lacking people. I needed more people around me at that time in my life. And so that I went back to work and I kept taking my Plexus products and I kept sort of talking to people about these things that I was doing, but I wasn't very active in my business. So fast forward to I got pregnant with my daughter, and daycare is a really hard thing out here in the valley where I live. And so I'm at my full-time job. I have my baby. I have my maternity leave, and then I have to go back to work with my daughter strapped to my chest, working a full-time job in an office, trying to get all the things done and just feeling like I was failing flat on my face because I was so tired. And, my mother encouraged me. She's like, you can do this, Lisa. You can do this and it's going to be with Plexus. She didn't want me to be with the other company. She wanted me to be with Plexus. And about the time I realized that I was probably going to have to quit this job, I reached out to Emily and said, all right, I'm coming back. I want to do the business. And the reason I came back to Emily is because I watched her faithfully pour into her team. She had such great leadership on this team that she had created, and it was going, you could see it trickling down the lines. I didn't have that with this other company. I didn't have this group, this team that felt like a family. And even though I hadn't been active in the group, like I watched and I saw how like faithful they were in their business and how much they all believed that God had put them in this place for a reason. That was appealing to me. That like knowing that I had people to run with me, to support me, to guide me, made me feel like I could really do this. And so that was why I chose to come back to Emily specifically and Plexus specifically. I mean, I watched leadership from one company to another company, like corporate leadership, just night and day different. And so that was really, really appealing about Plexus to me. But when I got started again, I linked arms with Kanya, who is on here. Emily hooked us up together, and we were both restarting our businesses at that time, both desiring to be home with our babies at that time. And so we started running together. We started holding each other accountable, doing the different tasks that were put up there, doing power hours together, just checking in and trying to encourage each other. And we both started flying really fast. I had finally re-ranked silver. I wasn't far off, but I re-ranked and then passed it very quickly. And it was only about 4 months later when I went gold. And I think Kanye was about this similar time frame. And it was amazing. And having that support and that community and the people to just cheer you on, like that made the biggest difference for my business. It wasn't doing it alone. And it's funny that I went back to a full-time job to find community, lost it. And I feel like my Plexus team is a bigger community than all of the people in my little town that I know personally. And I don't know it. None of them live near me. We're all in different states all over the place, but it is the greatest supporting community I've ever worked with. And I am like, that's another surprise that I did not expect when I started network marketing. And as a stay-home mom, I was very lonely during COVID. And so having all of these people, these women, just to be there, even just to pray with me and to chat with me about nothing, like that was amazing for me. And so there's so many blessings that come with this business beyond just the financial. And so now I'm at the point where I have, bigger dreams of being able to completely replace my former income from all the full-time jobs I had done in the past. And so I'm working on that goal, but my big dream is to kind of follow in Emily's footsteps and retire my husband. He's a high school football coach and a girls basketball coach. So he's pretty much gone like all the time. And I live this sort of single mom life. And we know that the time's going to come when our daughter is doing sports and he's not going to get to be there because he's got to go do all these other things. He works a full-time job and then coaches on the other ends of that full-time job. He's not in the school. And so I have a desire to retire him from that full-time job so that all he has to do is coach, to be there for those kids and those families, to have time to be there for his family, for us. And that is my huge why that is driving me now. So what I've been doing in my business since then is finally getting consistent. I realized that the work has to match the dream. And I've been doing work enough to keep me where I am, to keep me getting my products paid for and just having this nice little side income. But I really want the full kit and caboodle. So, the last little bit here, I have sat down every day. I realized that I'm so used to sitting in an office and being there at a certain time. And so I have changed the way I work. So I now sit down at 9:30 every morning with a couple of these girls and I get work done. And that has kept me accountable and consistent to the point where I no longer dread sending messages. I no longer dread what people think of what I'm going to post or share or say or anything. I actually have a lot of joy in doing it because I believe so much and what the products have done for me, the people in my life that I have shared with, what the business is doing for my life, what the community is doing for my life. I believe in that so much now. It's taken me some time. I've had to do a lot of mindset work to get there. But I have so much joy sitting down to work. And that is a huge shift for me. And I have spent a lot of time listening to training videos, both about the business and about mindset. I have listened to different mindset coaches, trying to find the one that suits me and a method of working that suits me. I did the nooks and crannies deal, and it got me to a certain point. But treating this like a real job for me is going to get me to where Emily is. And so that is really what I'm doing in my business now. And it is it is hard work, but it is probably the most joyful of work I've ever done, even working at that nonprofit that Emily and I were at. So
Thank you, Lisa. That was really beautiful. And I know that getting out and like opening up and sharing is really scary, especially with people that you may not fully know. And so I really appreciate you being honest and walking us through. And I just love that you left, but then you were drawn back. And that the family atmosphere very much is what we have here, was another really big factor. So I want to share with you guys a few last things and then we'll call it a night. But here's the thing. I've shared with you, and Lisa has too, how incredibly important it is to have a why. And here's the thing, like I know every single one of you on here. So this is not news to you. So if you are Brittany Albers, who's been with me for what, 3 years, right? Almost 3 years, something like that, all the way to, let's see, Angela, who's just been with us for a few months. Drawing into your why is still so important. It is so important because that is what's going to continue to push you towards being consistent. I feel like so often we will have a goal and we'll work really hard for a little bit and we'll realize this is really hard work and we might kind of go down a little bit in our business. And then we kind of see those goals as like, oh, why did actually, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay down here. Like, I'm okay with where we are. And I think that is us being afraid and not wanting to stretch ourselves. It's us being fearful of failure. And I want to tell you guys, stop. This is hard, but it is worth it. And I know some of you guys were with us at convention in June, but I want to just readdress what I talked about there. And you may not even remember it, but it was in the diamond panel. I talked about the qualities that I have seen in people who are successful here, because anybody can do this, but it truly does take character, integrity, and strength to be able to do this well. So it doesn't matter if you are male or female, if you are 20 years old or 80 years old. These are some of the characteristics that I have seen to prove to be successful, or the people who have been very successful carry these characteristics: committed and holding on to their why so tightly that when it gets hard, they are not derailed. They're not just throwing in the towel. They are committed and they are not stopping when it gets hard. They believe in themselves. They believe in the products. They believe in the business model, and they believe in this team. They believe in Plexus. Belief is so important. And if you don't have that yet, you need to build that. That's on you. Like, we can't build that belief for you. That's on you. Being coachable and having a heart of humility where you're learning and you're willing to ask for help. You are willing to have positive critiquing, editing, tweaking, and not holding on to that pride. Being coachable and humble, being emotionally stable, others focused. This is a relationship business, and that's why I love it so much. But that's also why it can be hard, because it involves other people. But when you are others focused rather than, okay, I need to hit this rank, I need to hit this rank, I need to add these people, having that desperation and it inward focused, that's not going to be fulfilling. But when you are out there helping other people reach their goals, helping other people with their health, helping other people make $200, $300, $500 a month. That is where fulfillment comes. Being grateful for where you are, even if it's not exactly where you want to be, having an attitude of gratitude is so contagious and so important to have a positive relationship with your business. Always learning. Learning is truly one of the most important things you're going to be doing here. I'm constantly training myself, even at the top of the company. Every single day, I am reading, or I am listening to a podcast, or I am going online and reading articles connected to what we share about inflammation, gut health, blood sugar. Like, constantly be learning, growing, and stretching their comfort zones. That's what I see with successful people. Because remember, stretching the comfort zone is also a sign of everything worthwhile is uphill. It is hard, but it is worth it. Few other things that I've seen in people who do very successful here, do very well here, is while they have blinders on, so they are not consumed with what's happening here, who's growing here, who's earning all these prizes. When they have the blinders on and they're doing their work, however, they are celebrating, and they, like I said, that positive attitude, the grateful attitude, and they're celebrating others, they're cheering others on, but they have the blinders on so they are not sidetracked by what other people are doing. And then allowing their upline or me or whomever to help them. Like I said, just having that heart to be humble and ask for help, and then trusting the process. So in summary, some of the things, I say some, but really, truly, like the things that I have done to grow my business, the things that I know pretty much every single diamond within this company has done to grow their business, it's few. There's not a lot that goes into this other than mindset, like learning and being emotionally stable. Those are things that you're constantly working on. But the tasks to continue to grow are few. You are training yourself. I see some of you have a notepad, so write these down. Some of the places, and I'm going to share with you real quick here, some of the places that I really like to, oh, sorry, hang on a second. If you see here, if you go into your plexusworldwide.com website and you go to the dashboard, if you see right here, it says, if you're a brand new ambassador, please click here. Click that button. And you guys, this is like a treasure right here. There's so much information here. Don't get overwhelmed. As with any job, you have a learning curve. Like, you need to spend a lot of time learning and growing. I don't know why this is taking so long, but this site right here through your Plexus website is really, really phenomenal. I'm going to stop that share because it's taking far too long. I'm sorry. But utilizing that, the new ambassador, click here, is really important. The training videos. I grow all the time with training videos, but I'm going to tell you, when I first started, I was listening to so many training videos specific to Plexus, about the products, about how to grow the business, about how to figure out how to do social media, how to send out messages in an authentic way. So some of the places I really like to listen to training is through the Plexus Worldwide YouTube channel. They have all sorts of things there. Go take a look at them. And then I want you to also look into the beautifullyplexus.com. It's a really great place to learn more about the products. They have the info sheets on our products on that site. It has our clinical studies. It talks through the science of our products. Really, really good. And then some of the like specific people that I really find value in and have found value in with my training for 4.5 years. I'm going to shoot off some names. I encourage you guys to go and check them out on YouTube and listen to them. Subscribe to their channels and just listen to their videos. Listen and implement. So Tamara Holloway, who is our other Diamond upline, she's incredible. Melissa Eichenhorst. This is recorded, so if you don't get all the names down, come back and listen, or I can send you an email with all the names. Brianne Coolidge, Emily Gibson, Brooke Hemingway, Krista Deary. Those are just a few. Tara Castaneda is also really, really good. Those are just a few. Those are people that I really, really like to listen to, especially when it involves like growing my business, sharpening my skills. So depending on the speed of your goals, if you're just wanting to get your products paid for and make $500 a month, or if you are wanting to hit the top of the company and average $25,000 a month, that depending on where you are with your goals. Another thing you're going to be doing is you're going to make a list of people. Again, you guys all here know this, but I'm going to send this to you as a reminder because this may have been something that you did a year ago and you haven't done it in a while. Make a list of 10 people, 20 people, 100 people who you think could benefit from the products, who could benefit from an additional side of income, an additional stream of income, or people who you think would kill at this business. And then let your upline help you craft some invites, inviting them to come and take the products with you, inviting them to come and learn more about the products, inviting them to come and learn more about the opportunity, because you have no idea who is quietly, secretively praying at home for an opportunity like this. Hannah Richardson, you all know her. She's a sapphire within our team. 2 months, maybe 1 month before I invited her to come and try Plexus, she was praying that God would give her something to allow them to pay off their debt faster. And then 1 month later, I reached out to her about Plexus. You have no idea who is praying for something like this. And you could very well be the vessel to help them with this. So reaching out to people, following up with people, sharing what you're learning, what you're experiencing, what others that you're seeing are experiencing on social media. It doesn't have to be calculated. You don't have to be a robot. Please don't. You don't have to be this perfect influencer. Be you. People know you and people love you and people value you. So add value on your social media and share what you're learning, because people may not have a clue that sinus infections are connected to the gut. And when they find out that maybe this could help them and eliminate them having to take off from work 2 weeks a year, then maybe this would be a blessing for them. Just sharing what you're learning, what you're experiencing on social media, and then train more and more and do it all over again. It's very cyclical. You're learning, you're implementing, you're learning, you're implementing. And that's how, as simple as it sounds, that is how I got to the top of the company. That's how Lisa got to gold. That's how Lauren, you're senior gold now, right? Like that's how, no, but you're about to be. You're so close. Okay, so I just want to encourage you guys. Anything worthwhile is uphill. Lisa left because she wanted easier. When she got to the other side, she realized it's not easier. If this is something that could bless your family, dive into that why, dive into your goals, connect with your spouse, and you guys talk. Make a plan of action where your spouse is watching your children 2 nights a week so you can go and really dive deep into your business. Prioritize your business. Let us help you. Trust the process and don't give up when it gets hard, because it will, but it is so, so worth it. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to take a quick look here at the chat. Okay, beautifully. I'll type it out on the chat, Lauren. That's a really, really good one. Anybody else, you guys? Anybody have any questions? Small, sweet little group right here. Feel free to ask. Okay. Well, you guys, I love you. Lisa, thank you for taking time to share your story. You all, thank you so much for taking 40 minutes out of your evening. I love you guys. I hope that this kind of reignited a fire for you, one step at a time. Don't become paralyzed with all the things. Just get into action, one thing at a time. Like Lisa said, link arms with people that are moving forward, and you guys run together. As a team, we meet up at 9:30 Mountain Standard Time every morning, Monday through Friday, and we just work. So if you need that accountability and you're able to hop on at that time, please do. Okay, love you all. Thank you so much for being on. Bye, you guys.